Welcome to another episode of 50 Insane Details, the series where I find Easter eggs, details, and state the obvious about Star Wars. Today, we are looking at the first episode of The Mandalorian Season 3. Lots of details, Din Djarin is back, Grogu is back, and there are lots of hidden things within this episode, but also obvious things. Let's go. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. If you're new, subscribe so I can bring you more and more details, each one more insane than the last. In the first few seconds of this episode, we see the skull of the Mandalorian mythosaur hung up on the wall. These creatures were allegedly tamed and ridden by ancient Mandalorians, but were extinct long before the Mandalorian cataclysm, and has since been used as the Mandalorian emblem. We also get to see the mythosaur sigil on a flag around the 2 to 3 minute mark, and there's also a second flag with the sigil for Clan Vizsla. If you're into your Mandalorians, you might also know Clan Elder and Clan Rook. Episode 3 of The Mandalorian is all about religion. The episode begins with Foundling being accepted into the Creed, then throughout the episode, the Mandalorian is wanting to redeem himself back into his religion. It's the overarching theme. This opening scene is the most Mandalorians we have ever seen at any one time on screen in live action. By my count, there are 37 Mandalorians in one shot, with 5 or 6 of them being foundlings. And you can also see lots of the Mandalorians have different colors of their armor based on which clan they are part of. The giant crocodile monster that interrupts the Mandalorian's baptism is a new creature as far as I'm aware. One thing we do know about it, it can eat Beskar. It's very unlikely the Mandalorian that found its way into this creature's mouth survived. The creature likely ate and digested the Beskar, unless the Mandalorian lived inside and came out the other end at some point. Did you guys notice the blood and guts that go flying when the Mandalorian shoots the monster with proton torpedoes? Now, it's rare we see blood on screen in Star Wars. Other notable times include Finn's helmet, and also Obi-Wan cutting off Ponda Bubba's arm in the cantina in A New Hope. When Mando shoots his twin blaster cannons from his N1 Naboo starfighter, they make the same sound that Anakin's starfighter made in The Phantom Menace when he shot the droidicas. This is a deep cut sound reference, likely done by David W. Collins, who also did the sound design for The Bad Batch and is notorious for referencing a lot of old Star Wars media in new sound design. Amazing. Thank you, David. So you might be confused about why Din Djarin wants to actually go back to Mandalore if the planet is destroyed. When the Empire bombed Mandalore, it seems that the planet crystallized due to the heat. A lot have believed the planet to be uninhabitable and poisoned, but it seems a traveler was able to retrieve this inscription from there, so there's a chance that it's not. But who is that traveler? Mando mentions that a traveler traded the inscription with Jawas. So is the traveler someone we already know? Will we get to meet them? Or is this just going to be one of those unexplained things that goes unresolved? The Purgils, or the Purgils. I don't know how to say them, but they're in this. Around the 10-minute mark, Grogu sees them in space while they're traveling at light speed. These are actually the creatures that took Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger in Star Wars Rebels, and now we have Ahsoka Tano looking for Thrawn. This is likely an early setup for Ahsoka, another reference to Star Wars Rebels that's connecting other Star Wars media together and creating this large overarching story that encompasses the Book of Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, the Ahsoka series, and hopefully allows us to eventually meet up with Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. In The Mandalorian Season 1, Nevarro was a downtrodden, barren planet, but now in Season 3, as we can see, it's become a lot more prosperous, more vibrant. Even the tiles on the ground are clean and no longer covered in dirt. There's also greenery, trees have been planted. It seems like Greef Karga has had a great impact here. Did you guys notice that Mandalorian's navigation screen in his Naboo N1 starfighter actually looks a lot similar to the Death Star? There's actually a droid here that looks a lot like R2-D2. You can see it in the crowd of people when Mando lands on Nevarro. Mando talks to a protocol droid upon landing on Nevarro. We also see what appears to be an R5 unit just behind Mando. Guys, there's a Gonk droid in The Mandalorian. When Mando meets Greef Karga, you can see a Gonk droid in the background. Also, the COO series Cook droid has returned. Mr. General Grievous himself. This thing first appeared in the Attack of the Clones aboard the ship that took Anakin and Padme to Naboo, I believe. And it also appeared in the Book of Boba Fett, and now he's here. He's back in The Mandalorian. Did you guys notice the tree full of Quakian monkey lizards? This is the same species as Salacious B. Crumb, Jabba the Hutt's pet in Return of the Jedi. As the camera pans around IG-11's statue, you can see that he is not in fact standing on rocks, but what appear to be Stormtrooper helmets, or rocks carved to look like Stormtrooper helmets anyway. Greef Karga has ranked up in Star Wars possibly more than any other character ever. He went from being a guild leader to a high magistrate of Nevarro, and now even has droids that lift his cape for him as he walks. I totally want want that. Lando didn't even get that. And I think these droids actually look a lot like Dio droids, like the one from The Rise of Skywalker. Guys, Grogu is still using the Force. Despite abandoning his Jedi training with Luke, he is still training at a slower pace in the ways of the Force. But let's be real, he's likely using it to get food. We get to meet the Pirate King, Gorian Shard, who is a new species that seems to look like a green version of Davy Jones. Also, what's interesting, Hondo Ohnaka was once the Pirate King, or a Pirate King, so I don't know if this guy has taken Hondo Ohnaka's role or if this is like a separate Pirate King. You tell me. A lot of people seem to think Grief Karga is a bit of a wimp, a bit of a pushover, but as you can see, he totally stands his ground and kills a bunch of pirates with the help of Mando. The pirates suggested he's gone soft, which he denies by shooting them in the face. As I was saying before, Navarro has really come a long way. Now we can see a food market featuring vegetables, fruits, spices. Around the 12-minute mark, there is a bat creature on someone's shoulder. I couldn't pinpoint the exact species, but it does look quite similar to a loth bat. As Mando and Grogu are walking through the streets of Navarro, we get to see a Mon Calamari. Could it be the It's a Trap man himself? Not likely, but there's a Mon Calamari here. You guys notice some yellow birds on Navarro. Not only has this planet evolved from being a barren lava wasteland, but there's also some wildlife here. I wonder if they brought that in. One of these birds is actually sitting on IG-11's statue. Now it looks as though Navarro is still under construction. If you pay close attention to the background, you'll see there's actually a lot of scaffolding and workers. So it seems like Navarro is still under constant construction and being expanded. You might have been wondering what species the pirates are that hassle Grief Karga. Well, we have a Quarren, a Weequay, a Klatooinian, a Trandoshan, and a Nikto. So it seems that Navarro's saloon was once actually built by pirates. Vane seems to suggest that the treasure his captain provided helped build the saloon, which Grief Karga has now turned into a school. While flying, when Mando flips his ship upside down, he actually holds on to Grogu so that he doesn't fall. Cute little detail. Alright, we just need to take a second to appreciate the score of this episode. Every time Mando sneaks up or destroys one of the pirate ships, his theme kicks in. When Mando destroys one of the pirate ships above the asteroid mining facility, the ship bounces off what looks like a crane, and this crane actually starts to fall a few moments later. You might remember the Razor Crest, Mando's old ship, the one that was destroyed and was possibly one of the saddest moments of this entire series. Well, even if it was great for carrying cargo, it wasn't amazing in dogfights, which is where his custom N1 Naboo starfighter dominates. If there's one thing this space battle proved, it's that Mando's new ship is faster, slicker, and better than any he has previously owned. He also doesn't really need a ship for bounty hunting anymore. He's not collecting bounties, so he doesn't need storage for them. But also, it's not clear whether he'll have this ship throughout the rest of the season, because in some of the trailers, he was shown to be flying something else. We have not seen the last of these pirates. It seems like these enemies are setting up to be a bit of a subplot within The Mandalorian Season 3, and the fact that both Mando and Grief Karga spared Vane's life means that he's going to come back and hassle them at some point later on. Gorian Shard's species is currently unknown. I'm going somewhere between a green Davy Jones and a curly-haired Grinch who stole Christmas. Maybe he came from a swamp planet like Dagobah. Just chilling in the swamp, comes out of the swamp, he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a pirate king now. Grief Karga tells Mando that he's looking for a new marshal for Navarro, and when Mando asks about Marshal June, Grief says she was recruited by Special Forces, so she's working for the Republic, and we're likely never going to see or hear from her again. Moff Gideon is returning in Season 3. For now, though, according to Grief Karga, he's been sent off to a Republic War Tribunal and is being charged with war crimes. So at this point, he is still under Republic control. That seems like it's all going to change. So Mando's trying to bring back IG-11. You might remember in Season 1, Mando always talks about how he hates droids and never trusts them. IG-11 becomes the only droid he ever trusts, which is why he is adamant he must bring him back to life over any other droid. You guys remember Babu Frick from The Rise of Skywalker? One of the greatest parts of that film? Well, Babu Frick belongs to a species called Anzellans. These small little guys who are apparently very good at repairing things, especially droids. So apparently IG-11's memory circuit is broken, which means he won't remember the Mandalorian, which is also why he tries to kill him and Grogu during this scene. So Mando tasks himself with finding a new memory circuit. However, this likely means he won't actually remember who Mando is or Grogu, but he also won't likely try and kill them from this point forward if a new memory circuit is installed. I love that Grogu thinks the Anzellans are either soft plush toys or just little furry friends. He's very adamant about hugging them, and this may be my favorite Grogu scene ever. The space battle in this episode is an obligatory nod and reference to The Empire Strikes Back and Attack of the Clones space battle sequences, the Millennium Falcon avoiding TIE fighters through an asteroid field, and also Obi-Wan being chased by Jango Fett in the Ring of Geonosis. Did you guys think the pirates' ship's blasters sound sound familiar? They actually make the same sound as Padme's blaster from The Phantom Menace and also in the LEGO Star Wars games. So before I mention the mining facility on one of these asteroids, what are they mining for here? Well, it's likely resources to help continue the development of Navarro. Towards the end of the episode, Mando travels to a new planet we've never actually seen before. Kalevala is a planet in the Mandalorian system and is also the homeworld of the House of Kryze. This planet was first mentioned a couple times in the Clone Wars. Now, when Mando lands on Kalevala, he actually leaves his cockpit open and it's raining, so everything inside his ship is gonna be saturated. Dude, it's like having a convertible and it's rainy day outside and you're leaving the top off. What are you doing, man? Moldy in there. For some reason, Mando wants to join Bo-Katan. She sits on a throne but now has no followers because she doesn't wield the Darksaber. She's also a bit of a hypocrite because she says the Watch abandoned Mandalore and their ways, but she was once part of the very same group she later helped remove during the Clone Wars. What's the deal with that? You keep sitting on that throne, you keep sitting, you chill there, you have your little sulk, see if anything comes of it. Number 50 is up to you guys. What's one detail you noticed that I might have missed? Let me know in the comments below. For more 50 insane details, subscribe or watch this video here. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, TikTok for more Mandalorian and more Star Wars. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.